Hey, I just watched the documentary Crip Camp, a 2020 film that follows um, actually one of the directors of the film, James Lebrecht, decided the thing he would like to do is to do a documentary on this summer camp that he went to as a kid. Um, and it's a summer camp that was for people with disabilities. Lebrecht had spina bifida, but there's people of all sorts of different disabilities, both kind of mental and physical. Polio, cerebral palsy, quadriplegic, all that thing. And it's like, well, why did he want to do a film on this? And I mean, it starts off, it's like it's this camp kind of set up by hippies in 1971, where the people with disabilities were actually able to go there and sort of just be themselves, not be people with disabilities, but to be teenagers and to smoke marijuana and fuck and have fun and get to not get treated like little little objects. And out of this kind of ethos comes this group of people who organized and pushed for people with disabilities, civil rights. It became a civil right movement, and they show them pushing through various various things that just the whole idea of things being accessible toilets, accessible buildings, saying like, the federal government, if you're gonna take federal money, you should actually allow all people in society to be able to get through that, and that discriminating, like not making things accessible to people with disabilities is equivalent of being racist, of being sexist, of being homophobic. Um, and it's very much out of that movement that they push through a shit ton of stuff. They change the world, and it does come out of this camp, which was at a time when a lot of kids with disabilities were getting shoved into institutions, and they show horrific scenes of institutions where there's basically half naked children all basically warehoused, um, you know starving to death because there isn't like enough staff to actually feed them. And they're saying like, oh shit, there was like one kid at that came to the camp who was from one of those institutions and would just sit there and just shove food in his mouth, as fast as he could until he was sick. And it was like it was from coming out of one of those fucking deplorable institutions. Um, and it kind of takes you through various people's lives at from the camp, moving forward through the decades up until the present time, coming back to this camp. Uh, you know, One's like a successful James Lebrecht is a successful sound engineer. Um, um, you know, One of the women who is like, yeah, civil rights, exported this as a world revolution of disabilities, kind of coming out of kind of California and moving the states, and then worldwide. Um, the various people, and the various people that didn't didn't live long enough to get to died in the thing, whether it's the guy who started the camp, um, or other people. That's like, I work with people with disabilities. It's people with mostly like mental disabilities, who need support. But it's like, this is like, these are the people that cause the revolution, which is like directly shapes like how I'm working today. I work in a group home where we're trying to give people a home, with 6 people, and trying to give people a kind of a home environment where the whole ethos of the thing is to just try and what can we do to make to allow them to um, live fully enriched lives, um, that they can decide on what they want to do. um, you know um, yeah, yeah, a really powerful, really great thing. It's just like how just amazing, just how engaging it is, how you cheer along with these people as they fucking put the screws to politicians to force them to have to pay attention to, and I mean, let's not fool ourselves, make society pay attention. They interview one woman who is a quadriplegic, who is like who it was like when she was 21, she was hit by a car, and she was made a quadriplegic, and she was like, she had no clue beforehand. She had no conception, and she had all the stereotypes of kind of people with disabilities, um, and just the rude awakening of like, oh God, now I am one of these people, and how society, that screeching thing of how society treats me and how society looks at me and how society makes everything 1,000 times worse by not by not recognizing my worth as a human being. It's like basically saying like you're not worth being a human being. I think there's a woman who you know the cerebral palsy, who she's like got this horrible pain in her gut, and they go in, it's like, oh, you must have a appendicitis, and they take out her appendix, which is perfectly healthy, um, but it's perfectly healthy, it wasn't the appendix, and the doctor comes in afterwards and says like, oh, you've got gonorrhea. And she, for a moment, it's like complete, she's proud that she's got gonorrhea. It's like, I'm a sexual human being. But this doctor, it's like, who would want to fuck me? Is what the message that she got from him, which is when she decided, it's like, fuck that. I'm going to go get a master's in human sexuality. And like, she's now like an author and stuff like that. Just like, I am a, and I remember her showing her with a t-shirt saying like, I am I'm, I'm a sensual woman, or something like that, with a t-shirt. It's like, that kind of message that just because I have a disability doesn't mean I stop being a human being, a sexual human being. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Really great documentary, produced by the Obamas. So doing good work afterwards, helping filmmakers, James LeBrecq and Something Newman, um, make this film. Really, yeah, really engaging. Really, I can see why this was one of these top documentaries for 2020. All right, I will leave it there. More videos later.